Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What are you talking about?
Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. This is episode 138. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleyman Gaming. And Burley, we have a full house in this episode. We have a couple of special guests. Of course, one of Burley's Twitch community members, Cammy Reaper147. Want to welcome you in. And the queen of Persona Analysis. Lady Virgilia, lady, lady, welcome in. Yes, welcome in.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yes. So, it's great to have you on the show, and you too, Reaper. And Burley, like I said, full house, man. We're gonna have a fun show, talking about Persona in this episode, as well as some of the other gaming news items to talk about. So, Burley, how was your week?
My week's good. It was a busy work week, but
busy work week.
Finished off Final Fantasy 16. Beat the story on that. Had a lot of fun with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Cammy Reaper 147, want to welcome you in and tell us a little bit about yourself and what type of games do you like playing?
I'll play anything myself, really. Mainly, I prefer my RPGs or shooter type things when I'm not being harassed by a cat, or 6 rather.
So, how many cats do you have? I think Burley was telling me you have 7 or 8 cats or something. Oh,
6 of them. Yeah,
6 cats. Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, we got the dad 9 years ago, mum 8 years, and then they worked out. We were trying to keep them apart until we were ready to let them, and they worked out how to open doors.
Oh no!
And yes.
Oh man!
clever little things they are. Yeah, I have 2 of them.
Then I've made the running joke that cats are basically velociraptors in modern day form.
Yeah, I have a cat
behavior.
too, so they're great.
And the one that's just been on screen is my regular streaming mascot that I will be getting an emote made of him at some point that simply says "pest" with his face by popular demand.
I see. So, lady, want to welcome you on. Of course, you do a lot of Persona videos as well as Genshin Impact videos on YouTube, and just want to ask you, of course, you're into Genshin Impact as well as Persona, but are there any other type of like turn-based games that you like to play?
I guess like the other major series I like is Trails. I used to balance both on my channel, but then it was I think it was like just it was too hard to do like two things at the same time. So then I had to like move all the videos over to like another channel, my my Trails videos. But yeah, like I love that series as well, and it is still, I guess, like relatively niche for like a JRPG, I guess. But I think it is gaining a lot of popularity, which is really cool. Yeah. Especially, I think especially since like COVID, because it gave people a lot of time to like catch up on it, because it's like a long continuous story over many games. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. So anyway, of course, we're going to be talking about Persona a lot during this episode. That is our topic of the show. But we have some other stories to talk about, like the Lord of the Rings Gollum. The studio that makes Lord of the Rings Gollum is closing up. We're going to talk about that. And of course, Sega. The executives at Sega are dismissing the blockchain games. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. As well as when we talk about Persona, we're going to talk a little bit about Persona 3 Reload, as well as our predictions for Persona 6, lady. What we might see in Persona 6.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm willing to talk about it.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, our picks of the week, as well as PS Plus and Game Pass. The July drops. We're going to talk about that. But before we get into the games that we've been playing this past week, here is a brief word about where you can find the podcast in audio and video formats.
Before the crew discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast's ad-free version in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get every episode including exclusive ad-free post-show content in video format when recorded, please visit patreon.com/thearenaproductions for further details. The audio version of the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in the video version, it will be on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Productions, where you can join and chat with the Arena Productions community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at The Arena Productions. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys, let's talk about the games that we've been playing this past week, and I will start. I have been playing, and Burley, you're going to be surprised at this, because previously I was playing Diablo 4, and I was playing, of course, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. But this week I wanted to delve a little bit back into Kimetsu no Yaiba in Japanese, which, of course, is Demon Slayer, the Hinokami Chronicles. And I really like the anime series, obviously. So I wanted to delve back into the game. I was playing it on PS5. And of course, here's Tanjiro, and in one of the first boss battles where he is on the mountain. And this is towards the beginning of the game when he is finally becoming a demon slayer. So this is like his final trial. So you get the opening threads. This gives you information about parrying during the battles and all. It's very fun. I really enjoy playing it. And it's one of the reasons why, of course, I bought a PS5. Was this game, as well as obviously like Horizon and some of the other, of course, exclusives. But I really like this game. It's fun, and the combat is fun as well. So I don't know. Have any of you also played Kimetsu no Yaiba or Demon Slayer? Burley, have you played any of this?
No, but this does give me Naruto Ninja Storm vibes with the way the combat looks and the art style. So that is a good thing.
Yeah.
No, I've been meaning to actually watch Demon Slayer. Just sit down. Every time I go, I'm like, I'm going to have time to sit and watch this. Something blows up.
Yeah.
And then I got to do something else. So it's like, I definitely, once I've watched a bit of the anime, I will take a look into this game, because I remember when it was coming out, you were excited for this game.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Reaper?
it's a fun anime.
Yes, definitely fan anime. So yeah. Actually, at the local movie theater here in Japan, they played the first episode of the newest season before it came to TV. Yeah. So,
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So of course you
have
get like a
Demon Slayer
rank.
on my list.
Go ahead, Reaper. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Demon Slayer on my list to watch as well, but just haven't got round to it yet. I've got too much of a backlog to catch up on.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. I feel
Okay. Okay, next up. So I think Burley, you are next. So what have you been playing this past week? Yeah.
So the main game, Final Fantasy 16. So as I said earlier, I finished and beat the story on this game. I really enjoyed it. The combat was a lot of fun. The story I actually really enjoyed, and I'm glad they went back to the roots, going back to fantasy based, medieval kind of fantasy based. It was really good. And I know a lot of people were not happy that it being the back to turn based. It wasn't turn based, and you don't have the huge open world and just going from place to place. I kind of like this, of just picking where I want to go, just going, and then having the towers you unlock, the fast travel points in these little maps, having all that. I think it worked really well.
Yeah.
And just all the I have some. I still wish you could have played as other characters. For mostly, it's only Clive, and I really wish you would have had more weapon types than just the sword. But overall, it was a great game. I highly recommend, if you've got a PS5 and you're interested in it, try the demo, because the demo, one of the nice things is the first 2 to 3 hours is the first 2 to 3 hours of the game, and if you beat the demo and you like it, you buy the game, it'll transfer it all, so you don't have to redo that, and you'll get some of the trophies and stuff for it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, eventually get to this game. It's so much. Yeah.
I'm waiting on the updated PS5s that I feel like should be coming out eventually soon. I've heard rumors of them, right?
Yeah, the PS5 Slim. Yeah.
Yeah. They always end up releasing.
Is there
it,
no
so
pro
it's
version yet?
There is no pro.
Cool. Well, that's cool. Maybe I'll just wait and see what comes out of the Slim. But yeah, I'll eventually get a PS5, and then I'll have more games to play after.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, who knows, lady? I mean, Persona 6 might be PS5 only. Yeah.
I would buy it just for that, quite honestly.
Yeah.
That would be worth getting a PS5 for.
Yeah. I mean, there's been rumors, like you said, lady. There's been rumors of a PS5 Slim, because right now the acquisition with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard still has not gone through, but it looks like the judge is probably going to be giving her ruling very soon. And I think that's what PlayStation is waiting for, to see what's going to happen with Activision. And then they're going to probably announce the PS5 Slim, because there's usually a Slim model, and then later, probably another year or two from now, we'll get the Pro. So
okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
Okay, so next up, Reaper. You were playing Midnight Suns. So
Yes,
talk a little
I
bit about
have
this.
been addicted to that. But for lack of a better word, I've been addicted to it since I bought it 4 or 5 days ago in the Steam sales. Marvel RPG, card-based combat. I'm a sucker for trading card games in general, so the card-based combat for me is just top-notch. I'm liking the exploration. Got a decent roster of characters, which I think I've only got about maybe a third of characters unlocked at the moment. I haven't gone very deep into the story. I've been sort of abusing the side quests, getting items so that I can upgrade the housing unit. So, like the base, because you can upgrade your base to get better equipment, i.e. in the costumes, especially for the main character, your costumes can give bonuses. For some of the later ones, unlock passive abilities to use him that automatically activate in battle. It's a lot more complex than it seemed overall, but at the same time quite simple. It's nice and easy to get into, because it's like, I know what, it came out 6-7 months ago now. I was waiting for sales because I hadn't seen much of it, but I knew I was wanting it. And then, like I say, Steam sale, it was 60% off. So I got the Legendary Edition for it, which came with all 4 DLCs that are out.
Nice.
Plus 24 costumes for it. So I've already unlocked 2 of the DLC characters, being Morbius and Deadpool. I've been using Morbius quite a lot in battle. I like his abilities that he's got. He works quite well in tangent with Blade, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, the gameplay looks actually really cool. Like the TCG aspect of it, it's like, wow, if we could get a Yu-Gi-Oh game like that, would be so cool.
Oh,
actually, like they were actually on the map, kind of
that
thing,
would
instead
be...
of like top down. That
I mean,
would be cool.
like I say, I'm a sucker for any trading card games. Most Yu-Gi-Oh games I'll play day one, but if we got one like that, you wouldn't see it.
I would buy that too.
Nice.
Have you been playing it mostly on the deck or on your
computer?
Yeah,
literally only on the Steam Deck at the moment. My laptop is on the lower end of what it says it needs, so it's like it probably would be able to run it because it is a gaming laptop, but for it to be properly efficient, I'd want to upgrade the RAM in my laptop, because it recommends you have something like 10 or 12 gig of RAM with a minimum of 8. I've only got the 8, so I'm on the bare minimum for that side of it.
Yeah, whereas the Steam Deck, you get the 16 gigs. Yeah, like I've played a bit of this game on the deck, and it runs great.
It runs beautifully. It has to be said. I've not had any crashes, any glitches, nothing like that whatsoever. It's like I was actually watching some of the older Arena podcasts and came across the one where you were talking about that, and I've got to say I am in agreement with the general ratings that were given on its release day, of it being at least a 4 out of 5 for the rating for the gameplay and story. And to be honest, the further I'm diving into it, I think I'll probably end up upping that to the full 5 out of 5 for me.
I see. Nice.
And we actually have a super chat in there for you, lady, from Shazam.
Lady, let's see. Wait,
lady, you might like Midnight
Suns. Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, there is also that you
social
can
link system.
Yeah, there's a team friendship, but the more you upgrade your friendship with each individual character, it upgrades the actual team bond, which can give you bonuses in battle. You get hero combos that it gives you a specific card in battle. It's only one-time use, but massive damage.
That's cool.
You've got the right characters together. Each one can get their own sort of specific combos, and there's a lot to unlock. I'd say I've barely scratched the surface so far, but I am absolutely hooked.
Nice.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I'll have to look into it. It looks fun.
Yeah. So Shazam, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. So, all right, lady, you're up next. So what have you been playing? this past?
Mine is so this game is a remake of one of my favorite childhood games. It's a farming sim. I think you guys probably have heard of like Stardew Valley.
Oh
Mm.
yes,
How
yes, yes.
how
Oh, yeah.
huge that became, and then a lot of other farming sims like started to pop up. And I think like the guy who made Stardew Valley, like this is the series, like not just this game, but
Mm.
like it was called Harvest Moon, but now it's called Story of Seasons because the publisher didn't renew the rights to like the
Yeah, I
name,
heard the
like
original
I think
publisher
like
lost
10
the
years ago
rights.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just like really drawn to like this one just because the art style also remained pretty faithful, I feel like, to the original version. Just because like there was another remake that was done a couple years ago on the Harvest Moon, was it like more Friends of Mineral Town? It was a Game Boy game.
Okay.
And like I was just not a super huge fan at the time of like they used all these chibi models and like they were still cute. And I was just like, maybe I'll eventually play it. But I never got around to it. But this one I was just like, wow, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I think the main draw for me personally was that like a lot of, I feel like, social sim or farming sim things, they don't always show like the family growing up.
Oh yeah.
But like in this
Yeah.
one, like you actually grow old. Like with every new year that passes, it's like
Yeah.
they like, and that also means like you have like a kid and like they grow up too. And it's so interesting. Yeah.
Aw.
That
I've never
reminds
seen
me-
that done. Yeah.
reminds me of myself. Yeah, because my son and daughter are now like college. Almost. My son is now third year of college, and my daughter is like last year of high school now. So yeah, they've grown up
Good for them.
fast. Yeah,
Aw.
yeah. So cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. So those were the games that we've been playing this past week. So now it's time to get to the weekly news beat, and we're going to talk a little bit about, of course, Lord of the Rings Gollum. So Lord of the Rings Gollum, guys, it has shut down. So so let me get to the captions here, and I'm going to read, of course, this is from of course, gameshub.com. So I'm going to read this story here from GamesHub. So Daedalic Entertainment will no longer develop games following the disastrous launch of its latest title, The Lord of the Rings Gollum. In addition, the studio, has announced the cancellation of a second Lord of the Rings game, which had yet to be formally revealed. Going forward, the company will focus solely on its publishing division, which is currently working on 8 major releases for the upcoming financial year. So staff in Daedalic's Hamburg, Germany-based game development studio will be supported to find new work, but it says that 25 of the employees have already been laid off. So, quote, even though The Lord of the Rings Gollum did not live up to the expectations we had for the game, we are very grateful for the opportunity and the learning experience it brought us, Daedalic said in its announcement per Polygon. Quote, we value each and every member of our team very much, and it is important to us that the transition goes as well as possible. We will therefore support our former employees in finding new opportunities within our network. A difficult break, but also a new beginning in the already long history of Daedalic Entertainment, end quote. So the studio does have another game in the works, a follow-up to its beloved Deponia series titled Surviving Deponia. But this is reportedly in development at a third-party studio, Atomic Torch, with work continuing regardless of Daedalic's planned restructuring. So, Burley, I'll go ahead and start with you on this. So that was from Leah J. Williams over at GamesHub. So, I mean, this was a disastrous launch, obviously, for this game. But what are your thoughts on this? And obviously, all of those people that were working at Daedalic, we hope that they find new employment soon. So, but anyway, Burley, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, like you said, first off, hope they find jobs soon, quick, and find them at better companies. Because, yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm not going to lie. Because then when they said, oh, yeah, we got another Lord of the Rings game, it was like, dear God, no, why? Like, this, like, because the trailers were so misleading for Gollum and made it look like one kind of thing, like you're just doing an adventure with Gollum and going through Mordor and like Shelob's Cave and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There were doing, but then became known it was a prison sim and all this.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, no.
Mhm.
You know what? They did it to themselves. Of unfortunately, they went in, got this license, went all cocky, deceived people with the marketing and all that, and then it came out, and then when the game comes out and people are playing it that got review copies and all this, and it's showing, and it did not launch in a good state. Graphical glitches, falling through the floor and stuff like that, all sorts of stuff. I've heard from no one that finished the game that didn't say that it was a struggle to beat because of stupid issues that the game had. So they should have. They were mostly known as a point and click developer. Stick to what you're good at, or if you're going to make something different, make a smaller game. Make a double A. Make like an indie kind of level of game. Make something smaller. Yeah. Test the water. See how that goes. If that goes well, then slowly progress. Go bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Reaper, your thoughts?
I don't really have much to say regarding it, to be honest. I mean, I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan, but I watched a lot of people trying to stream it and struggling, and there was a few people who watched streaming it who they streamed for about an hour and ended up changing game on stream because they just couldn't keep going with the glitches that it had at the time. And it's just, I've got to say, I'm disappointed. It's a bit of a smack in the face to all Lord of the Rings fans everywhere, really. But
yeah,
it's like Burley was saying, at the end of the day, if what you're doing isn't broke, don't fix it. Stick to what you're good at. They should have stuck to what they knew, or gone up on a smaller scale first. Even like a 2D side scroller type thing would have been better than what they went for.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that that Daedalic just decided to close shop like that. I mean, it was a disastrous launch, but I mean, maybe they had a lot of financial difficulties as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I've never really heard of this type of a situation recently where one game just tanks an entire studio. I mean, just okay, we're going to close up shop and go. I mean, yeah, we had some things with Google Stadia. Yeah, Burley, you remember Google Stadia? Yeah. Some of the development studios there that were never able to get a game out, but I mean, that's a completely different situation. I mean, a studio like this with one game that, just did not do well at all and just decide to fold up and close shop. That's, a little strange. But anyway, Lady, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I just echo, I guess, most of the same thoughts. Like, I also love Lord of the Rings, and it's a shame that it does feel kind of like, I don't know, like knowing that a studio was like doing something for the very first time and just like doing it for such a beloved like IP, it does kind of feel like trying to just be like a cash grab. But at the same time, at the same time, it's just like, it's a shame for all like the people who were laid off because they just like had to shut down. So yeah, I don't know. I hope wishing them the best. Hope they can find something else ASAP.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So our next story, of course, Sega executive dismisses play to earn blockchain games as boring. This is from George Yang over at IGN. So Sega isn't as all in on blockchain gaming as it was before, now withholding its biggest IP, such as Sonic the Hedgehog, from being used in third-party blockchain games. This move is to ensure that Sega doesn't devalue its own content. Speaking with Bloomberg, Sega co-chief operating officer Utsumi Shuji panned blockchain games as, quote, boring, end quote. Quote, the action in play to earn games is boring. What's the point if games are no fun, end quote, Utsumi said. However, Sega will still let external partners use characters from lesser-known franchises, such as Three Kingdoms and Virtua Fighter, as NFTs. Utsumi noted that the technology remains useful in instances where it's possible to move characters and items between different games. Sega is also pausing its own blockchain gaming projects for now and being indecisive about implementing Web3 technology in its upcoming suite of, quote, super games. So, Reaper, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think of this quote from the Sega executive saying that the blockchain games are boring, and now they're going to kind of put a halt to their, of course, their NFTs.
I mean, it's a pretty. You'd think it's a bit of a risky move at attacking another type of game, really, because at the end of the day, everyone's going to have their own preferences. I've never really played many blockchain games, so I can't really comment or speculate if they're boring or not, because obviously I've got my own preferences. Would I give them a go one day if I came across them? Yeah, sure, why not? If I was offered them to play them and I enjoyed them, yeah, great. But it's like there's some games that I've played in the genres that I like that I find boring. So, it's like not everybody's going to be into the same thing. So just what one Sega executive dislikes doesn't mean everybody else is going to dislike it. So it's a bit iffy to be putting out statements just claiming that they're all boring and say, oh, we're not going to let you use such and such a thing.
Okay. Yeah.
For it.
Yeah. Burley, what do you think of all this?
They're making the right moves. They're not, but they're still keeping their toe in that water, which I don't like. I hate this half measure step of we're in, but we're not fully in. We're not fully out. It's just get out of it. Like I like that they're the play to earn blockchain because they've seen it, because they've seen from other games from certain people. I won't mention names. Have been people are criticizing and being like, I spent all this money and all I got was this little picture that's worth 5 cents. But if I try and sell it, you get 2 cents back because you own part of the company owns part of it. So they're realizing people don't want that. And they know if they do use their big name brands like Sonic, for example, they're going to lose all that goodwill that they've been getting up and up with Sonic movies, the last couple Sonic titles that have actually released and have done well. So they don't want to do it with Sonic. They're like, yeah, these King of Fighters and stuff are lower tier characters that franchises that aren't making as much money. We'll let people and use them and do stuff because we want to get a small cut and get a kickback of that.
Yeah.
But at least they're not doubling down fully in like Square. Like Square invested and sold off studios to invest more into blockchain gaming. When blockchain, everyone that's been doing it has been losing money because they realize there's the few people, I'm going to call them whales, that will go in and spend all that money like Star Citizen and stuff like that and just throw an insane amount of money into these games.
Yeah.
But they're few and far between, whereas like all of us, I'm just going to assume on this, I'm not going to play these and give them money to get a stupid image and be like, oh, I have a picture. If I want that, I can go to Google Images.
Yeah. Right click and save.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lady, I have a question for you. What about Atlas when it comes to this? And like, for example, Persona when it comes to blockchain gaming and NFTs?
I haven't heard anything that they're even looking into it at all. I hope they're not, personally. Yeah, because like I think some people said in chat that like I don't think it's necessarily the fact that like because like a blockchain game, in theory could really be any genre of game they want to make it. Like they could make it a platformer, they could make it an action, they could make it like a TCG or whatever. But it is the fact that like the main objective is to simply like make money. Like only. Like they're not trying to put out like, hey, it's a fun product. And also, by the way, like, yeah, we're making money. Like, it could, because I think some people will compare it to gacha types of games. And like, I do see the similarities like on the surface, but I think, and I don't want to discredit the fact that like there are a lot of gacha games out there that do not put like any effort into the actual game, especially as the years go on. But like there are companies like Hoyoverse, or like it used to be MiHoYo, like their product is actually still like a good product. Like it's still a fun game.
Right.
Like first and foremost. So yeah, like and all the actual content is still like free. So like you can still enjoy like the story and everything like without actually paying anything. So yeah, like I hope that Atlas doesn't go down that route. I haven't heard of them doing that yet. And I hope it stays that way.
Yeah, well, the reason I asked that is because obviously, Sega owns Atlas. So
yeah.
So that's
true.
So let's hope that it doesn't go down that road.
Yeah.
But then
I mean,
again,
I like to think, that like Burley said that like they don't want to probably like ruin the goodwill of like Sonic fans, right? So I would hope that they would think at this, like Persona is also huge, or like Atlas IPs are also huge, and they wouldn't want to like ruin the goodwill of all their fans who play Persona and stuff. So yeah.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, well, anyway, I think NFTs unfortunately are here to stay in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, let's hope they don't get into these major franchises like that.
Yeah.
Please don't.
I know.
I don't know. I don't think, like with Persona 6, I don't think we're gonna see anything like that. I just don't think so. Not yet. So okay, let's get to Persona. So first, I am going to show Persona 3 Reload, of course. And Lady, I want to get your thoughts on this. And actually, before I do that, I want to show, of course, Lady's latest video on her YouTube channel. Please go and check that out. So water matters more than you think, predicting Persona 3 Reload via symbolism. It's a great video. And it's worth a watch. So please go and check that out. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Thank you.
I love how you talk about like the Greek architecture and the Greek influences, the cultural influences to the game. And the symbolism with that and with water, especially like with Christianity and of course baptisms and things like that. Really interesting. So please go and check that out. So good stuff. So anyway, so let's start first with Persona 3 Reload. So obviously this is going to be coming to Game Pass day one. And obviously, of course, our other co-host, Turn-Based Carl, he would be the first one to bring that up if he were on this episode. But anyway. But anyway, your thoughts
on Game Pass.
Oh yeah, and it's great that a lot of these games, a lot of the Persona games are coming to Xbox now. Yeah, it's a really good thing. So,
for sure, yeah.
So, lady, so your thoughts on Persona 3 Reload? So obviously it's coming in early 2024. So what are your thoughts on this?
I'm just like no matter what they do with it, I'm just like, I'm so excited to just play it. It looks, to me, it looks just so good. Yeah. Like I know how when people heard about like the leaks about how like it will be Persona 3 but in P5 style. I think like a lot of people just thought, oh, so we're just gonna, put them in the same models as like P5 engine, basically. But
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is clearly their own unique models and like art style and everything. Like it is, there's still definitely like, I guess like the drop shadow and stuff kind of things that are like inspired from P5, but
Right.
it's still to me like clearly its own art direction, and I think it looks great. And I'm just so excited to see all of them and like
Yeah.
all the characters. This
Yeah.
is my personal like favorite cast in the series.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Good
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Fuka-chung. Yeah, she's cool. Yeah, I like her. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
stuff,
The
yeah.
VAs, the English VAs, like I think they also sound really great in the trailer and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, unlike the Yakuza series, there's been a lot of blowback on the English VA when it comes
Yeah.
to
I feel bad for
Yeah,
him
so,
actually. Because I
yeah,
heard him do because he was also like a major character in JoJo's Part 6.
yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he did a really great job from what I heard of the English dub.
Yeah.
In that, so
yeah.
I'm sure he'll
Good
do a
stuff.
good job.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then of course Burley, one of his favorites, because I introduced it to him, is the Lost Judgment series, of course, over there, with the Yakuza games, and of course, Takayuki Yagami, of course, Kimura Takuya and all, and but of course, Burley he's into
awesome.
Kaito, yeah.
I like
Kaito.
Yagami, but Kaito steals the show. Let's be honest.
Well, it's funny, lady, because he's always joking with me about it's like, do you get beat up like every time you walk around a street corner in Japan? It's like, no. It's like, come on, no. It's like you
That's
never
reality.
see that stuff. Yeah, I mean,
do you see guys picking up like motorcycles and
I
like
know,
swinging
it's
them
like,
around
no.
at people?
I mean, in actual reality, you never see Yakuza out on the street doing stuff like that. You probably go your whole life without even seeing a Yakuza. So
Because they just like cover up everything. Like
Oh, yeah, well,
you would never know
no,
that like
yeah.
the person who just walked by was like Yakuza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they stay out of the news and stay out of the limelight as much as possible. Yeah, that's the worst thing to get publicity. So yeah, they're in the shadows basically out here. So for
The
sure.
games are great though. Yeah, I
Yes.
still need to play. I still need to play them. Like I just because I've played Yakuza 0. I love that game, but I just haven't had a chance to like get through all the other ones like Kiwami and then like 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So I look forward to it, and then like Judgment 2, Lost Judgment and Judgment. So
Judgment 3,
I
Burley.
look forward
Judgment
to
3.
it. Yeah.
It's coming.
Kaito's
It's coming.
Revenge. Yeah.
Yeah, Kaito's Revenge. No, it's not Kaito's Revenge. It's not gonna be Kaito's Revenge.
We don't know till it gets announced. So
well, once Johnny's
code name.
comes to their senses and lets
they
Kimura
let
Takuya.
the actors free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
yeah, I don't think
Let
Johnny's
them
gonna do
go.
that.
Well,
I don't
Kimura
think
Takuya,
Johnny's-
he's on a radio show out here in Japan on Sundays.
Oh,
and I
wow,
listen to him,
okay.
and I'm thinking I should call in and ask him, when is Judgment 3 coming out? Because I know you're probably working on it already. So, but anyway,
That's cool.
let's shift back to Persona, kind of. But I do have one question from Turn-Based Carl, lady, that he wanted to ask you. And he asked this question for you. What are your thoughts on the Metaphor Re Fantazio trailer? So I'm going to show that now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to show that now.
That does look good, that.
Yeah. Yes. So he wanted to know what your thoughts are on this. Yeah. So.
This was just like the fact that we haven't heard anything besides just like oh my gosh, Hashino just using the same phrase like we are in the climax stage
Yeah.
for like years, and everyone just memeing on that like wording, of course. Like we just didn't know, like is it still on? Like, are they actually still gonna release this game? Or unfortunately, some people were thinking, like, speculating, like, dang, was it like canceled or dropped? So like the fact that this just dropped like at the show, that this was amazing to see. And I'm just honestly really interested in how Atlas will handle like a not contemporary like setting. Because like also not only from this trailer, but like there was that, I think it was like 15 minutes long interview from Hashino and like Sojima and even like Meguro about like, I guess, their philosophy behind this game. And it was interesting to hear them talk about like this will be their kind of like their first time branching out, knowing that like Atlas, they've always approached their games from like a what sets us apart is our like contemporary like modern settings. So this will be like our first real true like fantasy-ish kind of setting, but at the same time still trying to, I guess, like put in, you can tell like their Atlas touch. So really looking forward to it. It looks cool.
Oh yeah, so really excited for that. So now I want to get back. There was one story about Persona 3 Reload that I wanted to kind of get back to Reload just for a minute here. And it's from PlayStation Lifestyle, and I will leave the link down below for all of you video viewers. For you audio listeners, it's at PlayStation Lifestyle. Persona 3 Reload changes divisive social link mechanic. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And Lady, I wanted to get your comments on this and how you think it will affect the play of Reload. So first, I'll ask you what you think of this. So,
I personally think this was a really good like a balance of this mechanic, because like I personally do like the fact that in Persona 3 you could have reverse links, because I think in some other Persona games, like the later ones, you can still say something like really like bad. Can we curse on this podcast?
Go for it.
Okay, yeah. So like you can
it is okay. Burley, he curses all the time, so okay. Don't worry about it.
So like you could say something like really shitty to someone. Yeah. And they just kind of take it, I guess. Like like they're just like, okay, like everything's fine the next time, the next rank up in their social link. So the fact that like they are bringing back the reverse thing, if you do something like really, like just say something really bad or like do something really bad to like your friend, right? That you do have to kind of like spend some time fixing it, but it's not nearly as like punishing anymore. Because I think the thing that made it really hard in the original like Fez version, P3 Fez was, or just original P3, was that like the jealousy mechanic as well, which they completely removed. Was just like too punishing, because especially when it was also kind of like I don't think people would actually react this harshly to in real life, so this was a good balance, I think, the decision.
Okay. Reaper, do you have any thoughts on that that you want to?
I mean, I didn't know they actually removed it. I only read about the fact they were making changes to it yesterday or the day before, so I didn't know they actually gone back on the fact they were making the changes again to the changes. But it's like, I agree with what the Shazam's just said in comments. It's like, if you're not spending time with them, it shouldn't reverse. But if you're being an ass to them, then by all means have it reverse, say, one stage, and you've got to deal with the fallout and consequences of your actions. Naturally, it's going to be awkward. You've got to rebuild that bond. That makes sense. But simply not spending time with them, it shouldn't reverse for that, because at the end of the day, everyone's got lives, and you've got that many social links to deal with. You can't physically spend time with them constantly. So if you're
Mhm.
focusing, say, on one more than the others, you don't want your others to drop and have to divide your time.
Right.
You can focus on your favorite characters first and work on the others afterwards without it being too much of an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember like the first time I played P3 Fez, there were a couple links. I forgot which ones, but like I know that there were a couple. Maybe it was like poor like Fuka was one of them. I think
Yeah.
they just reversed, and I had no time to like fix like some of them that I was just like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I have to go the rest of the game just like only focusing on some. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna ever fix you this time
Yeah,
around.
I can't remember who it was I had issues with when I played it last, but yeah. It's like I had it at something like 8 or 9 at one point, and then when I looked next, it was down to 6, and I hadn't even spoken to him. I wasn't even aware it had been doing it. Just like,
Yeah.
what the f- is going on there?
Yeah, I feel like I was surprised too. I'm just like, wait, why won't they let them hang out with me? What? And then I look at like the menu and I'm just like, what is happening? Oh,
Yeah.
this is a mechanic. And I was like, dang, like yeah, it was an interesting idea, but it was taken like way too
Yeah.
far.
It could have made it more obvious that it was going to drop on you, give you a message or whatever you want. If you don't spend time with them soon, it's going to affect your bond, and then you need to do it before you have issues from it. But
Yeah.
that's something that they could tweak for this one. But we'll know the full results when it fully releases, I guess.
Yeah.
This just sounds like you need an Excel spreadsheet to play the game while you're playing it. I'm like, yeah,
It's not
no,
wrong.
You don't
I
have
like
one of
that-
those for any game you play?
I mean,
No.
it's actually interesting. Like the developer interview of P3, I guess Hashino said he was told by the team that like it would be impossible for someone to do a max social link run. So when he started hearing back that like some people were doing it, they were like, he was shocked because he was like, wait, what? But the developers told me there would be no way people could do that. So dang, good, like props to them. But yeah, those are like, if you can only do it if you like follow those people's guides. Otherwise, there's like no way, I think. Yeah.
That seems like too much time management, and when you have to do so much just time management for the general game, the story, and trying to do the side content, all that just seems like that seems like a mechanic that needed to be reworked, and just hey, let's fix it. If we're gonna re-put this out in 2024, we need and we're remaking things. This needed to be overhauled and fixed.
Yeah.
We actually had a super chat earlier for you, lady, from Shazam. Lady, will Persona 3 use confident power-ups from Persona 5?
Oh, like that's a good question. Thanks, by the way, Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam, thanks so much for that.
I think
Appreciate it.
the thing the way I see like Persona 5 is that like it's like a big heist game, right? So in a way, like I think the big like I think by power-ups, do you mean so confidant power, so like the benefits we get from them? I feel like like thematically, it might not be as necessary potentially to the game, just because like to me, it always felt like Joker on one hand, like he is like a really caring person, but at the same time, like he's also in it for like what will benefit our team, right? So it's like, what can I get out of it in a way? So it's like I feel like Persona 3 is a little less like it's less necessary to have like a ton of the power up or rewards coming from these social links, but at the same time I'm thinking I can see them finding a way to like add something, maybe like in battle. I'm not entirely sure, but like potentially something else, just because I think they will know people who've come into Persona with Persona 5 will likely be expecting something now. So I don't think it's necessary for Persona 3, but I'm actually leaning more towards they will add something new. But I don't know exactly what. But
Okay, so we're segueing here into the topic of the show, and of course we're going to be showing some of the video clips of the trailers of a lot of the Persona games. But lady, this question is for you from myself. I want to ask you, excuse me, Persona 6, there was a leaker that said that the code name for Persona 6 is called Carbon, because carbon is obviously the 6th element on the periodic table. And I'm thinking where this game is going to be. I mean, the location of this game. Obviously, Persona 5 is like in Shibuya, the majority of it, of course. I'm thinking carbon. Of course, carbon-based emissions come from automobiles, obviously, and the biggest Kuruma Kaisha, of course, automobile factory and company in Japan is Toyota, which is located in Nagoya. So there you go. I'm thinking it's going to be in Nagoya, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? What kind of location do you think we might get from Persona 6?
I feel like that's the huge question, right? That's a pretty cool speculation, though, by the way. I wasn't actually sure myself, like, where Toyota's factory was, like, main headquarters was, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, main facility and headquarters is in Nagoya, yes.
Okay. But yeah, like, I'm actually looking into, because there's, like, so many, that, like, one guy, especially, like, I think his name is Midori, like, on Twitter.
Okay.
He like keeps posting about, like, he hears that like Persona 6 is going to be unlike like such a different like Persona game kind of thing. And it makes me wonder, like, are they going to try and do something like outside of Japan, like what Hashino like originally was expected to do with Persona 5 before like the earthquake and everything. So like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like, it's crazy to think about though, because then it's like I don't know like where they would set that. I mean, I have like speculation if we're going off the like environmentalist message. But I don't know if they want to like open that can of worms, I guess, as a company, right? Because like they can totally criticize or like do social commentary on Japan all they want, really. So yeah, I think I am leaning still towards more like what you're suggesting, like it will still be in Japan for the most part. They might just like maybe visit other countries, who knows. But I do like the carbon. Like, I know a lot of people were bringing up, like, oh, that means, like, it's gonna be black as a color. But I'm just like, I mean, not necessarily. To me, I thought of the same thing. Like, carbon, I was thinking, like, yeah, carbon emission. So, like, the green would still fit.
Right.
Because it's an environmentalist, like, maybe message. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting you say that, about being in another country or whatever, because the next Yakuza game, actually, Like a Dragon, parts of the game are going to be in Hawaii. So,
oh, wow.
The trailer for that game was hilarious.
Yeah. So maybe Persona goes to Honolulu or goes to Hawaii as well. Who knows? But it's interesting how you talk about, like the one person on Twitter was saying, this is going to be different than any other Persona game that we've ever had. Well, I'm thinking maybe because in a lot of the Persona games, as you know, the protagonist friends' families are focused on a lot, but not the actual main protagonist family. And I'm thinking maybe in this game we'll get more of the main protagonist family involved in the game, and not so much so a high school setting, because a lot of this is, like high school age kids, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll
yeah.
be university age kids, or maybe kaishingin, maybe business people, and
Yeah,
how
that'd
their
be pretty
lives
cool.
intertwine with one another in Japanese society. Not focusing so much
Yeah.
primarily on the education system and the high school system, so to speak. So
Yeah, that would actually be really, really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, when you think about like the carbon emission stuff too, like when you think about it, it is mostly like who has the power to actually change that kind of stuff. Like,
Right.
I mean, sure, like the Persona 5 kind of what leaned in the same thing. Like, technically, like the adults are the ones who have to handle these
Right.
these problems. It
Right.
shouldn't have to be up to these kids to do it.
Right.
But like, yeah, I feel like carbon just as like a name makes you think like, man, this is it's going to be a global catastrophe. And it's just like, oh, well, maybe, yeah, we're like adults in different corporate and other settings, like
Yeah.
other agencies, like,
Right.
and we have to come together to like solve this thing instead of like high school kids. But yeah, I guess we'll see. It'll be very, very cool, I think, to see a lot of people talk about how like university in general in Japan until like mostly your junior-ish year, your senior year especially though, but like up till that, like it's actually a lot more lenient in a lot of ways than high school.
Yeah. I know that. I know that firsthand because my son is third year university student in Tokyo, and up until the final year of high school, there's a lot of pressure. But then once they get into university, it's party time.
Does he is he like having to prepare for like that like shukatsu stuff?
Yeah, he goes to Tokyo Economic University, and he
good for
is
him, yeah.
now getting ready for an internship. So
Okay.
so
okay.
this year is the big year of getting into an internship, and then of course next year looking for a company to work for. So
okay. Oh, good
Yeah.
luck to him. Yeah.
he'll be
Lots of
he'll be
stuff,
fine.
yeah.
Well, I asked him, I'm like, what do you want to do for a job? And he's like, he said in Japanese to me, "Jibun no kaisha ga tsukuritai desu," which means in English, I want to run my own business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's a
that's
lot
awesome.
he's a lot like his father. I
That's
want to run my
great,
own
yeah.
business, but I hope it works out for him. So he's a good kid. So Burley,
Yeah.
you have some questions, and then we'll turn to Reaper to ask some questions to Lady about Persona. I know you had a question about the amount of Persona games that come out and everything. Go ahead and throw your question at her now.
Yeah, this one. How much more do you think they're going to keep milking Persona 5? Because we've had spin-off after spin-off.
Oh
You've
my
had
God.
Strikers. We're getting Tactics. Like, what like, is next year going to be Persona 5 Call of Duty ripoff kind of thing?
We got
Not gonna lie, I played that.
the first person shooter P5.
It's like,
I honestly think like I feel like there's still room for the Persona 5 arena because so many people have been asking for that. Like people want a Persona 5 fighting game. I think like Fither, who is like another big Persona YouTuber, I think just like yesterday or like the past couple days, he released a video on like what would be like the best Persona 5 arena game or fighting game. So like I do think there's still some room like left to do I think it won't only be like Persona 5 spin-offs like just like Persona 5 contained, but including other casts though. is what I've heard as well. Yeah, like kind of how P4 Arena still had like the P3 cast. I think I've heard like rumors that they are working on these other Persona spin-off games that like I don't know if they're just Persona 5 only, but it sounds like they're leaning more towards they're trying to create, I've heard like a global brand with Persona. So it would make sense, I guess, for them to start including like the entire cast of all the different games together. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I get it, and I know Persona 5 did so well for them. It's just like you finish one, as soon as you finish one of these games, it's like, we got like 3 more coming. And nothing wrong, like the quality of the games have been good, but it's like I'm kind of like, okay, what are they working on 6 really, or are they just
I could totally understand that.
5 is selling so well. Let's take the development, have 2 guys working on 6, the rest of the team. All right, which ones are we gonna get? We're gonna get Persona 5 FPS, Persona 5 Tennis, Persona 5 Volleyball.
Persona 5 Sports.
That'd be interesting.
Persona 5 Basketball. I want that.
There you go. Yeah, I'm in for that.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I totally can understand, like, because at this point we're just like, guys, it will be by the time Persona 6 supposedly like even gets announced or comes out, we'll be like, wow, it's been nearly 10 years since Persona 5's original release. That's crazy to think about. Wow.
It doesn't feel like it's nearly that long since the first one came out.
Right? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I remember playing
PS4,
I think it originally came out on Persona 5. Yeah, it came out on the PS4.
Originally based PS4.
Yeah. I remember playing Persona 4 Golden on the Vita.
I still got my Vita copy of Golden.
I mean, the Vita, that was a huge seller on the Vita. I mean, Persona 4 Golden was, So that was amazing.
That was the main reason I had a Vita. But P4 was PS2. Jesus, yeah.
I played on the PS TV the first year those things came out. So I'm glad they had those too, because like they were actually pretty like inexpensive. If you just wanted it like to play the game and you didn't need a handheld. So
that was
so my prediction right now, 2024, we'll get the announcement. We'll get a teaser. Yeah. And then in 2025, Tokyo Game Show, I will be there. They will show. Show, and they'll give a release date in 2025 for Persona 6 because it'll come out in 2026.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Tokyo Game Show, I mean, they just made the announcements and a lot of stuff for Gamescom too, but Tokyo Game Show is going to be a full-blown show again this year. Nice. It's going back to pre-COVID times now. So you're going to have Makuhari Messe in Chiba, not in Tokyo. It's not Tokyo Game Show. It is Chiba Game Show because Makuhari is in Chiba Prefecture. So just letting you all know that right now.
Yeah.
But it's close to Disneyland. Disneyland is not in Tokyo. It's in Chiba. So Chiba Prefecture.
Yeah, that's where my dad's side of the family. So like my great grandpa is from Chiba.
Oh, nice.
So,
I lived in Funabashi for 3.5 years, which is in Chiba, close to the Tokyo border, but on the Chiba side. But Makuhari Messe is where Tokyo Game Show is, and it will be packed. About 20,000 people in
oh my god!
Yes, on the public days, and hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed to get a media pass. Hopefully this year.
Yeah.
So Burley's going to petition it for me. So thanks, Burley.
Don't you mean
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
I
I'm
hope you
hoping
guys
do
get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Burley, I'm sorry, I can't pay for your plane flight out here, but yeah, I hope you can make it at some point.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, I do got a trip. Eventually, I will make it out there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be for around Tokyo Game Show time.
Yeah.
To do it. But
so Reaper, I'm sorry, I was going to say Reaper. I'm sure you had some questions for a lady pertaining to the Persona series. So it's your turn. Go ahead. What do you have?
One that I'm interested in your thoughts on, with the fact of how deep you've gone into it. How do you feel about the fact that they're only doing the base game for the P3, not including anything for, say, from P3 Portable or the Fez? Because I've seen a lot of people complaining about it, that are basically refusing to even play it because they've confirmed it's only base game.
Yeah, I feel like that's the interesting question of like, why would they go through the trouble of like creating this really beautiful remake, but then potentially like not adding anything new when they've done that with every original like or other Persona 3 like re-release. So like Fez had the answer, right? And like and then Persona 3 Portable, I think the developer interview said that they added the FemC because they felt like the visual novel style, it was actually kind of taken away from like a lot of like game. So then they felt like they needed to add something to supplement it. And then we come to Reload, and to me, I feel like it makes me suspicious that I feel like they might actually be changing a bit of the, let's say, like the ending of it.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Be
And I feel like
canon ending.
like I feel like Reload is more because I think in an interview they alluded to how like Reloaded would be technically the right term if like they were just going simply for like, hey, let's call it remake, but what's a cool name for it that is like a reference to evokers? Well, like Reloaded.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's reload and not like the past tense of it makes me think that like, oh, it's a constantly active thing you're doing in the game. Reload. So it makes me think like, are we like reloading Persona 3 over and over again? So is it a new story potentially? I don't know. Yeah. But that's a good question. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, lots of cool stuff about Persona. Yeah, we're really excited for of course Reload, as well as we saw some of the others. Of course, Tactica is coming later.
I am excited for Tactica myself.
Yeah, so good
Yeah.
stuff.
It's just a rehash of P5.
I like strategy games.
Tacticals.
Yes.
I agree with Shazam in the comments though as well. We do need another Persona Q. I really enjoyed that when it came out on the 3DS.
Yeah, good stuff.
I would not be opposed to them doing another one of them. Because the Switch has a touch screen and stuff, so they'd still be able to use the same mechanics as it on a bigger screen.
Yeah.
Switch and Steam Deck only.
Hey, it'll work.
Handheld only.
Yeah, it was originally only on handhelds in the first place, so why not?
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think we'll ever get a VR mode for Persona 6 or any of the other Personas?
Ooh.
Dang, it's
so definitely crazy. A game I'd play in VR.
Yeah. Running down the streets, running down the streets of Shibuya with Joker. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Persona 5 Joker Thief VR. Like I'm bad at coming up on a name on the fly here, but you know what I'm meaning here. Just doing the
Persona 5
dash and
Fagin
grabbing
edition.
treasure.
Make an Oliver
And-
Twist joke with it.
and Reaper can take care of Morgana. Yeah. So,
I have
Oh my
enough
God.
experience with cats. I definitely could.
yeah.
Reaper would actually be really scary, I feel, in VR. If you think about it, like coming across it, like dang.
Oh.
Yeah.
Depends
All
what
right,
mood you
so-
catch me in.
All right. So that was our topic of the show, talking personas. So the Persona series, we're really excited for that. So next up, it is our upcoming new game releases. Of course, every week on the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, we talk about the upcoming new game releases. And all of you video viewers, the link is below. And for all of you audio listeners, of course, at releases.com, you can check out the full list of the games that are coming out this coming week, as well as for the rest of the month and in the upcoming months. So this is for the week of July 10th through the 16th. So Reaper, I think you're first here. So what is your pick of the week?
I went for XO Primal that's coming out on Game Pass, I think on the 14th.
Okay.
That it's due out.
Mhm.
Now, the style of game, I'm not really massively into the MMOE type, shooty type stuff like this, but it's a sci-fi shooter with, well, as you can see there, exosuits basically, hence the name, and it's got a load of dinosaurs, which, if it's got dinosaurs in it, I'm probably sold. I still have an obsession to it stemming down from being a kid. I've even got a raptor tattoo. That's one of my tattoos. I've got a raptor fossil on my arm. So
Okay.
it's like anything that's sort of shooty with dinosaurs has my interest. The fact it's going to be on Game Pass on day one, I've had it in my play later list since it got announced on the Game Pass. So I've been waiting for it for a couple of months. I actually pre-installed it last week, ready to go. I've not looked massively into it because obviously there's only the brief trailer that we've got on screen now. But if there's I don't know if there's going to be like a little mini campaign type thing to it, or if it's just going to be squadding up and going through different levels. Obviously, you've got different types of dinosaurs coming through in various forms.
Dang.
So, I mean, the T-Rex looks like it's a cross with the Venom and the Black Tyranno from Yu-Gi-Oh! There in that form.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks fun. It might be good. It might not. But at the end of the day, it's going to be free for me to play because I love Game Pass. So I'm definitely going to be giving it a go.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, coming to Game Pass day one. So yeah. Game
Like I
Pass.
say,
That's
I think
cool.
it's either the 13th or the 14th. I think it's the 14th off the top of my head. Yeah.
14th, yes.
Yeah.
14th. Yeah.
But yeah, I've got that preloaded on my Xbox ready to go. So
All right.
I've got my capture card hooked up to it. So I might stream it for a bit of fun. I might not. It depends what I'm in the mood for streaming on the day, really.
Nice.
Very
All right.
cool.
So next up is my pick of the week. Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals. So television sets flicker on and off. Radar systems on planes malfunction. Radio broadcasts are overridden by static. In the quaint coastal town of Kamina, an anomalous surge of electromagnetic waves is causing unprecedented interference with electrical and radio equipment. Drawn back to her hometown with reluctance, Riley Poverly is tasked with investigating the enigma, but what she uncovers exceeds her wildest expectations. Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals is the compelling sequel to the critically lauded narrative adventure game Oxenfree, crafted by Night School Studio. Comes out on Wednesday, July 12th for Android, iOS, Netflix, PC, PS4, PS5, and Switch. So that is my pick of the week.
Yeah. I've heard good things about the original the first game, Oxenfree. So
I haven't even seen the first game, so
Oh, it's great.
I've heard of them, but I've not actually seen it.
Yeah.
This
I've
looks
seen the
really
first
nice. Yeah.
Burley, have you played Oxenfree, the first one?
I have not. I've been told I
Okay.
should try it,
Yeah.
but seeing this trailer for the second one, it's like, yeah, maybe I should take a look, see if it is on sale on one of the platforms right now, and pick it up and try it out.
Yeah, I mean, I actually played the first Oxenfree on PS4 and on the Vita. So yeah, back in the
Hmm.
day. So good stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Burley, you're up next. What do you have for us?
Yep. My pick of the week is Testament, The Order of High Human. Testament is a first-player, single-player action-adventure game with bits of RPG and Metroidvania elements, set in a post-apocalyptic fantasy world, offers mixed combat with different possibilities and combination of sword, bow, and spells, while it's rich with platforming and puzzles. So it's coming to PC July 13th. And this thing gives me Oblivion vibes, and like Oblivion Avowed now, but just like more interesting with the puzzles, the platforming. I like platforming, but anyone who's seen me play a platformer, you know what it's like.
It will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming to the Steam Deck too, Burley. Yeah, so maybe we can do a Steam Deck review on the on the
I
channel
gotta see
here
if it's playable on Steam.
Mm.
Yeah, because not everything comes out perfect for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It
All
does
right.
look fun, though.
Yeah. All right. So, lady, what do you have for us? I know we were talking before the show about you weren't too familiar with the games this week, but you had a game from July 7th that released that you want to talk about. So, what's your pick?
So this game is I've mentioned the Trail series earlier. So this is like basically the wrap up game it still has a really great plot. It focuses on like 3 protagonists and then you have different routes. So kind of like what it kind of released near the same time that like 3 Houses did. So it's like it does kind of a similar thing where like you're following like 3 different sets of like people or like casts at one time. But yeah, it's basically the wrap up of the first saga basically of the Trail series. So this is maybe the chat can like remind me. This is the 10th game, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think this is the 10th game in the series. And so this is like the really nice, I guess, like conclusion, while also like opening up plot lines that will be seen like in Japan already has like the first 2 games of like the new part of the saga, like they're called Kuro no Kiseki. But like this is a game that came out 3 years ago in Japan, so it's just really nice to finally have it.
Yeah, it's like that's around the normal amount of time they wait to release a game out here, or from Japan out to the West, unfortunately.
So we're everyone who's a Trails fan, we're just like all super excited to see like the English cast basically finish up their roles here, because for all we know, like the Kuro no Kiseki, they're all essentially all new characters. So it'll be presumably different casting.
Yeah, Burley, this looks like something you would play too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does. This the animations on this look so good. Looks so good graphically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You know me, I love my RPGs, so
this
is something I will definitely keep in mind when I do get some free time to dive in on a long game like this. Because knowing this, it being an RPG like this and 3-path kind of thing, it's gonna be a long one.
It's like it's kind of hard to recommend this game or the series because it does go off the story of like literally at least 4 other games before it. So that's why, so it's like one of those things where I say if you want a really story rich and like a great like series with world building and stuff, Trails is like your game, but at the same time, it's like I understand the ask for people is like huge because you kind of have to start with one and then
Right.
go through 2, 3, 4, and then this is technically the 5th one in like
Yeah.
this arc. So yeah.
Well, like Lady was saying, let us know in the comments which number in the series this game is. Is it the
Shazam's
10th?
commented it's 10 if you don't
10,
count
okay,
the Gacha,
yeah.
East, or Boundless.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So,
Yeah, thanks Shazam.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. So those were our picks of the week for the week of July 10th through the 16th. So you can go to releases.com to check out all the games that are coming out this week, next week, and all the rest of this month, and moving forward for the rest of this year. So exciting times, for lots of games. Speaking of games from PlayStation, Burley, it's time for the PS Plus drop. So PS Plus games for July 2023. So the link to pushsquare.com is below for all of you video viewers here. And of course, for all of you audio listeners, pushsquare.com, you can find the PS Plus games for July. So Burley, you're up. So talk about the games.
Yep. So for the essential, we actually got a really good month this month of games. You've got Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War for both PS5 and PS4. They give you the cross bundle.
That's interesting. They're doing that. It's interesting.
I'm
surprised that they did it, to be honest. But
because of the Activision Blizzard deal.
Yeah.
It is a game I've actually played. The story, I actually really like the story. They do have a few different things with it, like branching paths on some of the stuff. You can go one way to get one ending, another thing to get another ending. And they do the whole, at the beginning, you do a psych evaluation. So you get little perks, but they have advantages and disadvantages. So it was a really cool thing to help, make the campaign stand out. Then you've also got Alan Wake Remastered. So to help get you ready for Alan Wake 2 coming in October, which is way too stacked. And then we got Endling Extinction is Forever.
That October is going to be crazy. I mean, that month there.
It's
as we were talking before,
for me.
As you dubbed it in last month's one, Broketober.
I mean, everyone will. What we were talking about, Burley and I, we were talking about. There are going to be games that are going to be delayed out of.
Oh yeah, there's some that are gonna get either moved. I wouldn't be surprised one or two tries to go say we're gonna release earlier and go end of September.
That's possible.
Just to have a better chance.
Awesome.
There will be some that'll move November, but I wouldn't be surprised because you get Starfield at the beginning of the month. And like the only other major release that I know in September at the end is Phantom Liberty DLC for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I need to go back to Cyberpunk at some point.
Yeah. It could be Assassin's Creed Mirage. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah, could be. All right. So next up, Burley, we've got, of course, the Game Pass games. So what's coming to Game Pass for the rest of this month?
Alrighty, so for July here we've got Arcade Paradise that came out on July 3rd for console, PC, and cloud. GTA 5, which came to Xbox One and Xbox Series, to cloud and console. Sword and Fairy Together Forever, cloud, console, PC, and cloud, July 5th. McPixel 3, cloud, PC, and console. And so we've got these next three games are coming, coming July 11th. Common Hood to console, PC, cloud. Insurgency Sandstorm only on PC. And then July 14th, Reaper's Pick, Exo Primal coming cloud, PC, and console. July 18th is a game preview for Tectonica coming to cloud, PC, console. We also have The Cave coming to cloud and console. And then on July 20th, The Wandering Village coming to console. And July 31st, Venba just to console.
Nice. Now, Insurgency, that's been on Game Pass before, I believe, as well as GTA 5, which is it's been out forever.
Yeah. GTA 5 just
Speaking
been
of
put back
like
on it a couple of days
Persona
ago.
5 and its spin-offs, like GTA 5 is like even more so like this
Yeah.
one base game.
Yeah.
But the reason is the online casino, it prints so much money. Like
that makes
that's
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
So
that's
many
why
microtransactions
That's
for
why.
it. that people
that's
Okay.
why
won't
they
jump
have
on.
no problem with all these like flash sales on PlayStation and Xbox.
Oh
You'll
my
see the game
gosh.
go for like $10, and you're like, oh, it's because they have no problem doing it, and then they'll do the additions with the online in-game currency for the online casino cheap to get you in and be like, ooh, I want more microtransactions. Like
Dang.
I forget what the thing was. It was like the revenue off GTA 5's online casino was insane.
Wow.
I forget the numbers.
Dang.
I looked it up a year or two ago, and I was like, okay, you could fund so many games with this, and Rockstar's just like,
Wait, what do you
we're
even
counting.
get from that? Like what do people get from this? Like skins or like what?
New cars, stuff for your
Cars,
hideaway
okay.
and stuff. I haven't
A lot
played
of
a
it's
lot of
in-game
GTA
credits to buy stuff for your hideouts and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was wondering like what in-game benefit do like
Well,
people get from that?
yeah.
But, okay.
Bragging rights. Just
Yeah, basically.
Dang.
Yeah.
It is
Wow.
basically just down for bragging rights at who can spend the most money at
Yeah.
this point.
and
Oh.
I think-
Shazam says GTA Online is one of the biggest MMOs currently. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not wrong
Agree.
there.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. I totally see. Yeah, like I feel like that's why like any kind of gacha or like microtransaction that to me like doesn't stay as like a single player like game or something. That's when
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm dropping out because then I'm gonna be
Yeah.
tempted to like
Yeah.
keep up with
Yeah,
like
just
that's
cut it
why
off
a lot
before
of
the
games that
temptation.
have PvP in them, I'm just like, no, this isn't good for me. I like completely deleting it, right? Like, no
Yeah.
way. I can't stay. Yeah. Too bad.
Well, speaking of GTA in general, though, GTA 6 is that is imminent. I mean, you've had leakers all over the place throwing stuff out there
I
about
remember
GTA
that
6.
huge
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that
Yeah.
massive leak. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know it's basically going back to to Miami. It's basically it's going to be GTA. What was it, Burley? Vice City, right? Yeah. So
Back in
Vice City 2.
Yeah, basically Vice City 2.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be Vice City 2, and the map is going to be 10 times bigger than it was back then. So yeah.
Wow.
On single
And-
player, it'd probably be worth playing, but otherwise,
Wait
for a sale probably.
The announcement and the release date is probably imminent for that. I'm expecting probably around Game Awards time in December. I think that's probably when Rockstar is going to come out and finally announce it, because everybody knows it's coming anyway, and leakers are just having fun with everything with that. So so probably in December, but anyway. All right, so it's time for some programming notes. So, of course, the Arena Productions, obviously, the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast. Obviously, we do gaming news and talk about game development. And we also have our other shows, the Arena Extra Take, where Burley and I, we dive deeper into a particular video game. And, of course, for our patrons, we have the post show. But the Arena Productions is also an entertainment and pop culture related, of course, channel here on YouTube. And of course, some of the, content that we've been doing the past week, obviously, season 3, episode 1 of The Witcher, Sherwood, our recap of the first episode of season 3 is up on the channel. So please go and check that out. So Burley and I, we talk about Sherwood, and we'll be doing the other episodes down the line here as well. And for our Marvel series, of course, the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena, episode 3 of Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion. Our recap of Betrayed is also up on the channel now, so please go and check that out. And for our Star Trek fans, obviously, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 4, our recap of Among the Lotus Eaters is now up on the channel as well. So, yeah, we do Star Trek, we do Star Wars, we do Marvel, we do fantasy series here on the channel, as well as video games and all. So
yeah,
please
that's
go.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so please go and check out our content here on the Arena Productions. And of course, we have, of course, a Patreon as well, the Arena Productions Patreon. And all of these episodes go up to our Patreon in ad-free format. So yeah, come and check out our Patreon as well. So yeah, so we got a lot of stuff going on over there. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah. So now, of course, let's talk about the games that we're going to be playing this coming week. I'm going to be continuing with Kimetsu no Yaiba, of course, Demon Slayer, as well as with a little more Diablo 4. So, Burley,
Sounds good.
You're finishing up Final Fantasy 16, right?
Well, I'll be playing that on my off time. I'll be playing to do the side quests and all the other stuff and go for that platinum. But I'm going to be going back to Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
Oh,
Because I do want to finish that
Or
up.
Zelda.
yeah, sounds good.
I got to get back
That's
to that.
because I have plenty of loot files to torture you with.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, no. Maybe
I've
I
not
should
been able to
quit
play them for a while.
Uh-huh.
It's all right. You really want to worry. You gave me about 7,000 points when you destroyed the Final Fantasy 16 deck for the amount of cards I had for creations.
See, lady, I told you, they're just, it's all about stream loots and all that stuff. Yeah. For me, it's
fun,
just,
yeah.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. All right, Reaper, what are you going to be playing
Yeah.
this coming week?
I will still be absorbed in Midnight Suns. I can guarantee that. Exo Primal when it comes out, which I think is the 14th on Friday. I think that's a Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll probably be playing that on the Friday with me having it pre-installed on my Xbox ready to go. Streaming wise, I'll probably be doing some Pokemon Infinite Fusion just for hilarity and seeing what cursed images I can create in the fusions.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
Because there are some cursed creations on that thing.
Oh no.
Especially in the custom art folder.
Right. So for all of you video viewers, of course, you could check out Cami_Reaper147 over on Twitch as well. And the link is there below. So twitch.tv/Cami_Reaper147. Please go and check out his streams over on Twitch. So good stuff.
Nice.
So, lady, what are you going to be playing this upcoming week? And do you have any kind of, stuff about your YouTube channel and new content that you're working on that you might want to, give us a heads up on?
Tease.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still very heavy in like Persona 3 mode just because all the reload news and hype. So I'm working on redoing my first series on my YouTube channel ever, which was almost 5 years ago, was about Persona 3 and explaining what the arcana means for the main cast. So I'm just redoing that with better audio and images and editing and everything, and just
Cool.
as one huge compilation. So that's my current big project.
Nice.
And I guess also my next Persona 4 analysis was people voted for kanji. So I was okay. I look forward to that. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, thanks for asking. But that's the two main projects for the next couple months.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, of course, for video viewers, you can check out Lady Virgilia over on YouTube for her content related to Persona and Atlas, of course. Amazing stuff over there on her channel, especially for Persona-related and Atlas-related content. So yeah,
Thank you.
so please go and check her
Thank
out over
you.
there. Yes. So yes, good stuff. All right. So now for it's time to end the show, of course, with our indie recording artist spotlight. Of course, at the end of every episode here on the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, we of course have an indie recording artist to end the show with a little bit of gaming video along with that. So this week's spotlight is on Jane and the Boy. No strangers to the podcast, Jane and the Boy are a duo who work remotely between the US and the UK. Their style could be described as indie pop infused with singer-songwriter bops, from the title song of their album called Starry Eyed. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 138. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burlyman Gaming, and our special guests, Cammie Reaper 147 and Lady Virgilia. Lady, thank you so much for coming in. Yes.
Well,
So
thanks for having me.
Yes, and we hope to have you again when we get the announcement of Persona 6. Love to have you on the show again, as well as when Persona 6 comes out. Yes, and yes, thank you so much, and we hope to have you on the show again soon. And thank you all of you viewers and listeners out there for coming and for chatting with us as well here on the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. We thank you so much. So take care, everyone, and we hope to catch you next week for the next episode. So, and enjoy the outro. Peace out.
Take care.
Laters.
Got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body. Boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. Losing all my focus, I can't even control it. You know your lips are golden, baby, get me high. Touching me like lightning, yeah, keeping it exciting. You know exactly what to do to blow my mind. You're from another planet. I've never felt like this. I don't know how I ever survived without it. I'm starry-eyed. Got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body. Boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. This bed is out of space, just keep painting constellations. You cover me in glitter till I'm shining bright. I never wanna leave the sky. The way you made me feel alive. I was in the dark and baby, you're the light. You're from another planet. I've never felt like this. I don't know how I ever survived without it. I'm starry-eyed. Got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body. Boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. Couldn't fight if I wanted. Flying to places that I never thought I could go. You're a meteor shower, falling down all over me. Yeah, you're making me glow. Couldn't fight if I wanted. Flying to places that I never thought I could go. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. Yeah, got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the